Okay, what I'm doing today, I'm having to narrate this because my sound was off again. I'm doing gel prints with leaves from my garden. Uh, I have maple leaves, and I went and took some off the tomato plant, and potatoes. I'm growing buckets of potatoes out there, easiest thing to grow. I picked up some weeds and some flowers, and I don't even know what all the things that I've got, but you'll see them in a minute. Okay, here are the maple leaves. You can see they're nice, healthy, large. I love printing with maple leaves. I was born in Vermont. It reminds me of home. Now, I will put a list of the colors. I'm explaining the colors here, but honestly, I'm not even in the same room with the colors right now. So that's an olive green. It's strange. I have two olive greens and they're so totally different. And that's a new one that I just got. That's unbleached titanium. That's that cochineal red that I just got from Arteza. Cochineal. I don't probably not pronouncing that right. And I don't know what that. Oh, that's the other olive green. I mean, one is like army green, but it says olive green. The other one doesn't look like olives to me. This is a new one I got. It's just turquoise. It's a dark turquoise though, and look how it's so transparent. It's wonderful to work with. I love that color. And of course my Azo gold, which I can't go without. Quinacridone gold, I guess it's called. And that is the indigo. I got that from Amsterdam. It is the best color, and it is transparent too. And of course, that's the standard Mars Black that I use, but I don't remember if I even used that. I mean, I do like using black with these prints. But anyways, I'm probably going to try and put some music underneath this because I'm not going to talk through this whole thing. Basically, I'm just laying out the colors. I picked up 8 pieces of paper, I think I've got, and that is all I was going to do. It seemed like a long session for just 8 pieces of paper, but I'm probably not going to, like I said, I'm not going to talk through this whole thing. The paper I'm using is the cheap dollar store sketch pads. I pick them up when I go to the dollar store, just pick up a couple. And I like them because they're thicker than copy paper. Not a lot thicker than copy paper, but they don't rip as easily as copy paper or cheaper paper. I mean, they're cheap enough, $1 for 40, but although I never sat and figured it out, maybe it's not cheap, but I enjoy the way they work. And I recently bought some of the better copy paper that I'm going to try, but I like the way this paper, it's thin enough so when you're doing something like this, you can press down and get a good image like you can with tissue paper, but it's a little thicker than tissue paper. So when I'm pasting it in my journals, it's a little bit more sturdy. I mean, they both have their uses. Tissue paper is wonderful if you want to see what's underneath. And I think I start with deli wrap. And of course, I start with my hands, and you can see you get a pretty good image, but I think I'm going to pull out the tissue paper any minute now. So it does make a difference. I mean, you can rub down with your hands and do pretty good, but the tissue paper will get those lines nice and crisp without you pushing down and injuring your jelly plate. So yeah, you can see along the edges. Now look at the difference where I just rubbed with that tissue, how sharp that line is compared to the other side. It does make a difference. If you're really trying to get that paint up or you're really trying to get crisp edges, I find just a wadded up piece of actually, I think that's paper towel, does a wonderful job. And that's the indigo. Isn't that the most beautiful color? just pulling up that edge. I'm hoping to figure out how to fix this video. If anybody knows how to do it, um, this video, when I took it off my camcorder, it was in 5 segments, and only one segment in the middle had audio on it, and yet it was all in one session. I didn't stop. I didn't stop for anything to dry. I didn't shut it off. This whole thing was done in one sitting, so I don't understand. I'm really not a tech wizard, that's for sure. Yeah, that didn't come out very good. But look at what it left. So I'm going over it with something else. What am I using now? Oh, decisions. I think I may just have grabbed the white, which I hadn't grabbed to begin with. That's that heavy body white. And the heavy body white, usually if I can't pull it up with anything else, the heavy body white will pull it up. And I'm trying to get it thin. I want to like be able to see through it. Or just slightly though. I don't remember how this one came out. I got some nice ones though. And if you wait till the end of the video, the ones I like the best are I took photographs of them, and so you could see better. I think I need better lighting too, not just better audio. And I don't think it's my camera at all. My audio plays just fine in some programs. It just won't in this video editing program. Nothing comes out. Let's see how lovely that is with the indigo. I think that's why I pulled the white out, because I wanted that indigo to really pop. I got that one hole in that leaf. I don't know if there was a hole in the leaf or there was something on my plate, but look at how pretty that is. Oh, I love maple leaves. It's so beautiful. As I was printing, I was forgetting where the leaves were from. Oh no, see, I had something on my plate. Got to be careful. And when you're printing with leaves, they're going to leave all little debris, so I wish I could wash them beforehand, but by the time they were dry, they'd be wilted. This is that new turquoise that I got. I think it's golden. I don't know, I'll have to look at it. But if anybody wants to know what the colors are, just put a comment on there and I'll write it down below the video. Ugh, everything's sliding today. Isn't that pretty with the indigo and the white? Oh, I love that. I mean the turquoise and the white. I think some indigo is going to come up on this plate, left over from the last printing. I don't clean my plates in between, especially when I'm doing something like this. Now this is sage from my herb garden. I have a sage plant that's like 3 years old. I didn't even know they could last that long. And for the first 2 years, it was just this sad little lame looking plant. And it's in one of those metal buckets. The large ones, like a little metal trough. And the other plants died down in the frost. And I had them covered, but I lost most of my herb garden in the frost. And once they died down, that plant just popped. I mean, it wasn't affected by the frost at all, and it is huge now. So I don't feel bad about. Usually, I don't print with my herbs, but I didn't feel bad about it at all. There's so much sage out there. I'm good for 2 or 3 years. I'm gonna have to dry some of it. I love cooking with fresh herbs. Uh, I'm not really trying too hard on this one to It seems like I'm just lightly doing it. This was my first test on that color, and I just love it. Pardon my sniffles, my allergies are killing me. Went to the doctor today, and even he was complaining about his allergies. That I will print over later, but I think I might go and take some more off. Nope, I guess I didn't. I love the transparency on this. I think that's what I'm going to be looking for from now on when I do buy colors. I seem to be leaning towards transparent. Here I'm just testing to see if there's enough left on the leaf to bother with, and there wasn't because I'm using such thin layers. And then I pull that one up with tissue that I can picture that will work nice in my journal because I can actually write where that leaf is. The white of the leaf will be a nice place to put a little few words, little quote, if it pulls up. And it didn't, of course. But I still like the page, though. I still can see uses for it. I know what I intended, it just doesn't always do what I intended. Oh, there's my head in the video again. And this is my little handy dandy fan. See, when I do the videos, I have to shut the air conditioner off out there, and I found this, and it sprays water, and it's got a little battery operated fan, and I found out it is really neat for drying these real quick. Give them a little fanning. Then if I want something, if something's too dried out, I can spray it with the water because it's a nice fine mist. It's a big glumpy thing, but I was looking for a tiny fan, but it's a big clumsy one, but it sure is useful. And here I am, going at it with the white again. I don't know what it was with white that day. I don't usually use that white very much. I've had that tube for probably a year. I'm trying to lightly pull it up, I think. When you put the leaves down, you're supposed to put the backside down. A few of them I didn't, and they really look nice. Like I think those I didn't put the backside down, and it's still. I got a flatter leaf that way. I don't know what I'm thinking here, but that is not going to work. I can tell you looking at it. Yeah, it didn't work. But it's still an interesting page. Don't you just love jelly print? It can be so far from what you wanted and still be so usable. I don't know why I'm paying so much attention to that little. It's supposed to be just for rolling the ink, but having more fun printing on that than the big one. And I have a large jelly plate, and I have a even larger one that's a homemade one. I almost never bring those out. 8 by 10 is about as big as I manage. But that's because I do so much art journal, and my pages are never bigger than 8 by 10. And I don't usually like trying to print double pages. I've seen people do it really effectively, but I haven't seen me do it really effectively. Oh, yes, I love this one. This is one of my favorites. This is a keeper. That will definitely be in my journal. There's a few little spots that I have to go back with some watercolor or something and fix, but that's lovely. And those sage leaves really, really print nicely. I wish I knew what all the leaves were to tell you. I just don't know. And that's not too bad. Oh, I think I go over that again and again. I'll do that with the deli papers. I don't know what. I think that might be the green, the olive green. I don't know. Yeah, that's what they call olive green that I call army green. I put some indigo in with it. Put way too much paint on that plate. And that one. It's fun narrating a video when you get to critique yourself as if you don't feel bad enough about the mistakes you make that you have to sit here and narrate your mistakes. Oh well. And you can see the camera. All right, I realized I put way too much on, so I took a plastic bag and pulled it back a bit. It doesn't show in the video, but it pulled it back quite a bit, took quite a bit off. Like I said, pieces of leaves everywhere. And I'm just pulling it up so I can print over it, but just lightly. And see, that is pretty with the indigo mixed with the olive green. Not the light olive green, but the army green. And I'm just picking these up. I think I'm just going to leaf print over them, just gently pulling pieces of them up. And I like that. And I'm filling in the two white spots with the brayer. I think I print the leaves over that later. I'm going to do another one of these sessions tomorrow because I find there's like 4 pages that I want to do in my journal with the leaves, and I only got 2 pages from what I did on this session. I mean, I'll still use all of it, but not. There's certain things I want for the journal that I was trying to achieve and I didn't. I don't know what that color was, but if you need to know, just let me know and I'll put it in the comments below. Like I said, I'm in the house right now doing this. Hopefully the dogs will stay quiet through the whole thing, and the paint is in the studio. I'm sort of narrating this in sections. Now, that I think is Italian oregano. I don't know what those leaves are, but I think that was Italian oregano in the middle. And I don't know what those leaves are, but they're very pretty. I had some, I don't know if I even used them, some squash leaves and I think I had zucchini leaves, but they wilt so fast. I mean, if you don't use them right up. So, like I said, I'm going to do this again, but I'm just going to pull 5 or 6 leaves to do it with because they wilted before I could really get to use them. I think I use them towards the end and you'll see how floppy they are. And I don't stop. I did this all in one session. So, now see, because that paint was so wet before that I picked it, look at how delicate it is right now. This paper is like I said, it's a little bit thicker than copy paper. It has a little bit more tooth to it too, because it's supposed to be a drawing paper. but it's not that much more. So it will bend. See how it will dip into those areas you need when printing something like this. If you were using thicker paper, you wouldn't be able to get that. I like the way that one came out. And the texture from the paper bag filled in where the leaves were, so that really made it nice. And here I'm trying to pull up the rest of it because I'm using way too much paint lately. Somebody's got to stand behind me and tell me no. I used to do that when I would teach people how to do this, stand behind them and go, no, that's too much. That's too much. I'm sure they thought it was me being cheap, but that's not it. You're not going to get the good, you're not going to get the good prints if you put too much paint on there. You're not going to get the fine details. You're just going to get glops, which is what I get a lot. But I'm getting better at it. Sometimes it's hard to just put out a little paint. Now, for some reason, the old video keeps jumping in while I'm trying to narrate this, but just ignore it. That leaf is just a little bit big for that plate, but it does something nice, I think. And once again, there's not enough paint on it to make it imprint. Now, see, you can hear that old video coming through, even though I've deleted it. I wish it would stop. Now I'm just trying to get a little bit more from around the edges. I'm just trying to get it just a little bit. I'm not really trying to get a cleaner line. I'm just trying to get a little bit more of the background picked up. And if you want a cleaner line, you have to clean it off with a tissue paper over it or something. Not going to work that way. Now, some of those were good for printing over and over and over again, and some of them wilted before I was even done. I think I only did like 8 pages and then some tissue paper. I'm going to let you just watch it for a while. Now, that looks like it's gold, but it's actually just yellow ochre paint. I think I showed it in the beginning. Now, that may look kind of hideous to you, but I can see a use for it already. I love it. I do a little bit more, just picking up a little bit on the edges. But I'll I find a use for it. I can see something in it already. I can see a picture in it already. I'm using my little fan. And I don't think I even work really hard to get it totally dry. You can get a smokier effect if you don't dry it totally. But you have to be very careful. And once again, we're watching paint dry. I should learn how to fast forward through these things. I'm working on it. My video skills are hideous. Actually took film and video in college, and I did a nice video for my project. Well, we did a couple nice ones, but we had to do one big one. But back then, we just took all our film in, and somebody edited while we sat there and told them what we wanted. So I don't know anything about editing video. It's a shame. I mean, I had the most fun sitting in there editing it. I really didn't like shooting the videos. Not steady enough for that. Oh, here I come with that cochineal red. Oh, it's so yummy. Really nice red. More sage leaves. And an ivy leaf. Some kind of ivy. Still trying to do something with that hideous tissue paper. Maybe just did it, I don't remember. I kind of doubt it. Isn't that precious the way I go back like a little bit more rub? It's going to save that. Well, I don't think so. Yeah, no. But that red is gorgeous. Anything you put it with, it looks nice. Some reds I don't like the way they mix with other things. That one I do. It's probably going to be my go-to dark red from now on. Now this is why I work with two plates. You're giving the other plate time to dry. At least that's what I should be doing. I don't always. And there I'm trying to get a print off them. And you don't get much. I think it's just that it was hot out there that day. Well, I don't know. Still needs work. But it does a nice transparent layer if you're careful with it. Which is getting more and more important to me lately. I love the transparent colors. That hard rubber brayer, it works really well. It's hard plastic, clear plastic, but I don't know what I got it for. It wasn't for this kind of printing, some other kind of printing. But starting to not want to roll, so it's not as useful as it used to be. Well, the good news is it almost all came up. Bad news is I think that red really kind of overpowered everything. It's not bad, I guess. And I should have done a better job rolling out that red because you can actually, I don't like it when you can see the brayer lines like that. But the colors are nice. The leaves, some of it's, parts of it are really nice. Really loading that one up. Or you do something else with this, hoping to save it. Actually, there are parts of it I really like. And I'm not pushing down too hard. I think I'm just trying to get, yeah, just a little bit of red on there. Now look, that looks so much nicer. I really like that print, strange as it is. I mean, who would believe that would come out of a leaf printing session? But I like it. I don't know what I'm saying right there, but it's something I think about the fuzziness of the sage leaves. They give you a nice, if you do them, usually you do the back side against the gel plate so that you get the stem imprint. But those look nice no matter which way you put them on there. If you do the stem imprint, that's nice, but if you do the other side, there's a fuzzy texture to it. It is so nice. Luckily, I have a huge sage plant out there now. I'll be able to use it again next time. And still have enough for the year. And that was a big nothing. And I think that was a big nothing too. You can tear it up and use it for water in a collage. And now I'm trying to decide what to do next, I think. Back to the turquoise. I love that turquoise. It's very dark, but it's very transparent. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Hopefully this is narrating again. I'm having more glitches. I cannot believe how many glitches I'm having. Just trying to get through this one so I could do the next one. I really love doing these videos. So I'm going back, it looks like, with the yellow ochre. Let's see what happened there. Oh, that color's so pretty. And I'm just picking up the leftovers. I think I left a piece of leaf on that plate. Didn't even notice. I don't know if that's the yellow ochre. I think that's the quinacridone gold, Lazo gold, which I haven't used up to this point, I don't think. It's very hard because I'm narrating this in pieces, trying to remember what you did the time before. Look at how nice and transparent that is. Well, I wasn't out there an hour, and some of those leaves were already starting to wilt and get very weepy. Trying to sort through the ones that aren't wilted. I remember this. Mostly, it's the larger leaves, of course. Yeah, there's some nice areas on that page. I don't know why I'm going so slow. I'm going to have to learn how to speed up these videos. But I'm almost done. Trying to decide whether I want to do a heavy press or a light one on this. I guess I decided for heavier. I got out the tissue. Sometimes it looks nice if it's just a light press and you just get the impression of leaves without the crisp lines. It's just very soft, like leaves in a puddle. I don't think I did a heavy, very heavy press. Sometimes I have in mind exactly what I want when I put stuff down. Sometimes I don't have a clue. On that one, I think I taped the left, yeah, I taped the left side of that page down. That's what took so long, so that I could pull this all up in one. It's a nice technique. I don't use it that often, but I think I did a couple of these that day. And if you tape the paper down, you get it exactly without all the white lines in between. So you've taped it down to the edge, and it's a very nice effect. I think I did a couple of those that day. I don't know if I did them all on camera, but basically you just roll it on there, lay your leaves down, tape your paper down, put it down for the first one. Okay, so it looks like I'm done checking what I got. That I'm happy with. I don't like those sprayer lines, but they're actually not that bad. That's another one where I taped the paper down and brought it back over. That's so pretty. And that one, I can see some interesting things in that. I'm really gonna work on that with my pen and ink. You'll see. I see something in it already that needs to be brought out. That came out very nice. That's that indigo. It's a beautiful color. And whether it comes out dark or light or medium, it's a beautiful color. There's a darker version of that one. Very nice. That's the green and the new turquoise that I got. That's pretty hideous, but I'll find some use for it. The one at the right portion of that is interesting. I think that was the first one we did. And those little tissues, the little runoffs, I'll keep parts of them, and I'll just print over some of them. But this is the end of my printing. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did. You have a nice day. There's only a few more seconds left, I think. Thank you very much for tuning into this. I really